It is clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia Tech, the battle for the Peach State. And this game had so much luster all up until Georgia Tech got smacked around by Pitt. And the line opening up is Georgia minus 13.5. And I think this line, under normal circumstances, they are right. And I still think they are. Georgia, they play a lot like Pitt does. They just got better athletes. And we may very well see Georgia open up a can like we've never seen before. 59.5 is the over-under as I am recording this Sunday afternoon. And yes, I am choosing to be here with you guys over watching the NFL because it is rivalry week in college football. So, let's dive in to clean, old-fashioned hate. Gunnar Stockton, been one of the most reliable quarterbacks in the country. They have been saying he's got true grit. Even though he cost me a little bit in a push with Florida when he took a knee at the one instead of going in. But, you know what? You win that game in January. Oh, yeah, it's January. Still in January. I will forgive that. But he hasn't done it yet. So I'm still a little unhappy about that. Nonetheless, in all seriousness, we look at this and it is the Haynes King show. If he's on, Georgia Tech's on. Georgia got a real healthy dose of Haynes King 1 year ago in a 8 overtime thriller. 2-point conversions here, there, everywhere. Just absolutely going insane. I don't think we're getting that this year. I think we're going to get more of a game like 2021 when Georgia went into Atlanta and just pummeled them 45-0, 57-7 in 2019. Pretty much since the turn of this millennium, Georgia Tech has won 1, 2, 3, 4 times, only missing one season, that being the COVID year. And it has been a mess for Georgia Tech up until the last number of years. Brent has really began to right the ship. However, it looks like the season is beginning to go off the rails as Georgia Tech played Pitt this past weekend. They got annihilated. They got destroyed. But you could have the revenge game factor, and you can say, oh, revenge doesn't play a factor, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. And on top of that, it's a rivalry game. This is why you go to Georgia Tech. This is why you go to this is one of the reasons why you go to Georgia, is to beat Georgia Tech, go on, win the SEC, and go on to win the national title. Georgia Tech, not quite the threat they were back in the World War II era and whatnot. And the Ramblin', whatever the hell they're called, whatever the hell their nickname is, that stupid old car that they got, that they drive onto the field with. Yeah, it's going to be a wreck fest. Georgia, I think that 13.5, I think, is way too nice. This game is going to be done and over with by halftime. I get that it's a rivalry game, but if you're going to go into a war with a Red Rider, you are going to get hurt. You're not coming out of this cleanly. I'm definitely taking the dogs, minus 13.5. The model, let's see what the model says. The College Football Nerds model. It has Georgia Tech and Georgia. Model it 32-28. Interesting. That is interesting. Has a much closer game than what I'm predicting. Georgia's better in every category outside of consistency score. I don't know if that's supposed to be high, low. I don't know. But I think Georgia. I think Georgia had a christening, an awakening with Texas. We saw finally pressure on the quarterback. We should see a lot of the same in that. I think Kirby Smart is beginning to be more hands-on with the defense. Against, and we saw a very creative offense with Mike Bobo, something we haven't seen before in Bobo's era of calling the offensive plays. So if we get that same creativity that we got against Texas, this 28-32 is not going to happen. It is going to be, it is going to be last call for Georgia Tech before we get to halftime. It's going to be an old-fashioned country rear end whooping. Gonna try to keep it clean for the kiddos out there. As we're getting into the holiday season, you might have some kiddos around watching. Make sure to make a YouTube account for them and subscribe to the channel. And back to business. But yeah, you look at every facet. Georgia Tech gave Georgia their best shot a year ago. Took 8 overtimes, but Georgia was able to win. And that was pretty much all she wrote. So the pretty much for Georgia, continue to be creative, continue to be unpredictable, continue to be brave, making the brave calls with Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo, and Georgia will cruise on to the college football playoffs, and we'll have to see what happens with Auburn and Alabama, which at some point this week, that video will be released. For Georgia Tech, you have to be able to contain Gunnar Stockton and stop Nate Frazier. Make Gunnar win this with his arm from the pocket. It's not the most ideal. It's not going to be it's not going to be a guaranteed win if you're able to contain Gunnar and make him win with his arm, because he is very capable of doing that. But that is your best option. You got to make Georgia throw the ball much more than they want. Their offense is predicated on running the ball and then working off that. If Georgia Tech's able to do that, they have a shot. But I don't think they're going to. Like I said, Georgia had a rebirth in Athens against Texas. They had some soul searching, and I think they found it. And they found it in an emphatic way. Give me the Dogs by at least 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. Georgia walks away with it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I really wish I had more on this, but I mean, Georgia Tech's a shot fighter. They just got undressed. They got exposed, and everything that they have been fighting for is now up in smoke. They need a lot to happen. They need a lot to happen, and as we look at the mess that is the ACC standings. They need Pitt to lose, they need Virginia to lose, and they need SMU to lose, and maybe they need Virginia and SMU to lose. Virginia's got Virginia Tech. SMU, they have Cal, so, and they need both of them to lose. And I'm guessing there's a lot of tiebreakers there. We're not going to go into that, but they need a lot to happen. Obviously, they'll be dropping in the rankings. They're not going to be able to get in with a win. The only way they get in is with an ACC title, and that is a pipe dream at this point. For Georgia, it is quite simple. They need a Texas-size upset in Austin over the Aggies. We'll be talking about that in a separate video. Or they might just need to win. Gosh. I don't know how that's going to work. Because they got, according to this list, Georgia's in. So, I don't know. A lot of confusing tiebreakers. Who the hell knows? We'll find out when the final whistle is blown in the Iron Bowl, I guess. But, yeah. So, I wish I could say that this game has so much writing on it, but it doesn't. Other than just pure old-fashioned Southern pride in the great state of Georgia. So, alright. That's all I got for you on this one. See you in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe. Later.